Republicans sweeping two special elections this week, dealing another blow to Democrats. Some Democrats now questioning the party's messaging and calling for new party leadership.
We need a winning strategy, and I think the first step to getting to a winning strategy is a change in leadership.
You see these commercials that tie these candidates to Leader Pelosi week in and week out in the last several months. That still moves the needle.
If we're going to regain the majority in 2018, we have to have new leadership.
But one of our pros says the real problem is the entire party's big government brand. Hi, everybody. I'm Dagan McDowell. This is Bulls and Bears. The Bulls and Bears this week: Gary B. Smith, Jonas Max Ferris, John Layfield, along with Morgan Ortegas and Julie Alvin. Welcome to everybody. Gary B., is the economic message of the Democratic Party the real issue here?
It is, Dagan. First of all, we missed you last week, so welcome back. It's nice to have you back with us. Second of all, the message. You know what the Democrats miss is this part of the country, which is probably 80% of the country between the coasts. The person in the Midwest, for example, that's a small entrepreneur, maybe a veterinarian, for example, who works hard and basically sees the Democratic message as one big Ponzi scheme, trying to move money from A to B and always at the expense of that veterinarian or hardworking entrepreneur or factory worker, whatever they may be. Look, I think the vast majority of America is looking for, yes, provide essential government services, but beyond that, scale down. Stop trying to spread the wealth around equally at the detriment of everyone who is working hard for a living. Look, to go back to maybe one of the Democrats that had it best, Bill Clinton was for smaller government. That's the message that was a winning message. That's the message they carry forward. Instead, they're doing just the opposite.
And it's not just two losses in these special elections, Morgan. It's been more than that, some 4 in recent months. And now you hear Democrats talking about we need to change the message to jobs and the economy.
You're right, Dagan, and Gary was also right as well. But let me just say, it's not just about the message. It is also about tactics and about strategy. We had this week an election on the same day in neighboring states in Georgia and South Carolina. We saw more money than has ever been poured into a congressional race into Georgia. Did you know just one state over in South Carolina, the Democrats ran someone who was distinguished, had a long business track record. The race was low-key. It was under the radar. And the Democrat in South Carolina, lost only by 3,000 votes. Meanwhile, in Georgia, you've got every liberal from California and God knows where coming in to campaign for this guy. And Handel won by that district by more than Trump won the district. So it is also about tactics, and the tactics in the Georgia race were just plain dumb.
Julie, but is the message, the brand, the big government brand of the Democratic Party part of the problem here?
I believe there are a few messaging problems going on right now. One of those messaging problems, I think, is being specifically anti-Trump in states that might not be the place where that resonates. I don't know that it's necessarily the big government issue that people are taking issue with. I think it's the fact that the messaging needs to be more positive and less about what Trump is doing wrong and more about maybe what Republicans as a whole are doing wrong, but also what Democrats would do right to correct those problems with what Republicans are currently presenting.
John, part of the problem with the big government message from the Democrats is because it comes down to we're lawmakers, but we know better than you do about how to spend your money, about your health care. We know better. Listen to me. It's that, well, Nancy Pelosi haughtiness and her condescending manner. That kind of sums it up.
Yeah, it does. And the hubris coming out of Congress is not owned entirely by the Democrats. I think Republicans can certainly share in that as well. Look, when you look about the people that America believes are better to lead the country, only 30% of Americans believe that the Democratic agenda is helpful for the economy. And somewhere it really is the economy. Look, we've had 10 straight years of sub 3% growth. And that's the first time in our history that that's had that. People are sick of the status quo. And they're not just sick of the Democrats. They are that. But look, you also had from 1980 to 2016, you either had a Bush or a Clinton in the White House or running for the White House. And people are simply tired of that. That's why Donald Trump got elected. And sooner or later, you've got to get back to the economy because that's what the Americans want so badly. And that's why they're voting outsiders in, because they're so sick of the status quo.
Well, and Jonas, the central message from the Democrats in the 2016 election cycle, really championed by Bernie Sanders, was, hey, $15 minimum wage. The American people step back and go, I want better than $15, than earning the minimum wage. I want prosperity. I want to have a self-directed job.
I think the Bernie Sanders message was part of the problem because it was kind of a fantasy liberalism where this whole to Gary's point, where the 1% is going to like pay for all these things. I don't think people are buying that because it's not working. They're giving us benefits and they're losing elections. I think the European model, if they want to go in that direction, where everybody sort of pays for their benefits with value-added taxes or sales taxes or higher across-the-board income taxes, is more of a believable long-term path of sustainability, and I think it would make people not feel like it's just going to bankrupt the country. But they got simpler problems than the economic message. I really feel there's a likability issue with these candidates. If you're basically, I mean, I hate to say this the way it is today, but look what happened in the Trump election. If your candidate if he was on a reality show or her and no one would watch it, it's probably not going to ever win a national election anymore. Like, you really got to focus on that these people are not really likable, and it's that simple. With Clinton and Obama, they were likable. Bill Clinton. And with Hillary and like Mitt Romney, these people they don't gel with people. George Bush did, and that's why he won, I think, ultimately.
And as Democrats scramble to figure out who their leader is, we get this from Hillary Clinton tweeting, forget death panels. If Republicans pass this bill, they are the death party. Gary B., this is what we're talking about. It's talking to the American people in a way that it talks down to them. It shows a complete disregard and disrespect for their own intelligence.
It does so. And to get back to Julie's point, I disagree vehemently because the Democratic message is generally negative. Look what happened during the Obama years. Stuff like, you didn't build that on your own. Coal industry is bad. Automakers are bad. Big business is bad. Independent health care is bad. If you're rich and you're in the 1%, you're evil. So everything was a teardown of what people are trying to do to build themselves up or build their community up. Instead, it's the death panels are bad. Republicans are bad. If you disagree with me, you're evil. I think that resonates with people, and I disagree with Jonas on one thing. Obama's well-liked by the Democrats. I think underneath they saw a person who is very divisive and very bitter, and that's one reason Hillary carried that over. I think that's another reason they lost.
Right, and Morgan, I would just like with Nancy Pelosi, I always say she's the woman who walks into a Waffle House and orders coq au vin because she's so disconnected from the way that real people live. Even Mark Zuckerberg, a multi-billionaire, took a cross-country jaunt to figure out what Facebook users were like.
Well, I love the Waffle House, Dagan. Now you made me hungry by bringing that up. I think everyone's going to watch this show and then head out to the Waffle House. Listen, as a Republican, I hope that they keep Nancy Pelosi in power. I hope they keep Bernie Sanders out there. I hope they keep Chuck Schumer out there. And I hope they keep running these, squeaky little snowflakes in places like Georgia and bring out all the Hollywood for them. Do that in 2018, y'all. That is a winning strategy for the Democrats. Keep it up.
Yeah, John, I'm going to give you last word, but I'll point this out. That I think in all the negative broadcast TV ads run against Ossoff in Georgia, Nancy Pelosi got mentioned in 90% of them.
Look, Nancy Pelosi has a 19% approval rating right now. 18% of the world believe a family of dinosaurs live in Loch Ness. So there's a crazy factor there that would like basically anybody. And Hillary Clinton lost the election with all due respect. As nice as I can say that, she's the worst politician probably in American history. She should have never lost in 08. She should have never lost in 2016, but she tacked after Michigan to move more toward Bernie Sanders, and that was a message that did not resonate with the American voters. American voters want government out of their lives, and they want some type of change, and they're sick of this status quo.
Yeah, that death party line equals desperation. Thanks, you guys. Cavuto on Business about 20 minutes from now. Neil, what have you got?
Hey, Dagan, new plan, same old problems. Someone here says the Senate Republicans' new health care bill replaces one costly nightmare with another. Plus, the tech titans that are taking on President Trump but still working with him. Proof they need him more than he needs them. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Neil. We can't wait. But coming up next, in wake of those terror attacks over there, a new poll over here showing more Americans are shying away from large events. What impact that could have on the economy? Next.